All right, looks like we are live. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending on where you are located. Really excited to kick off our live trading session today. We will be doing a live market review. Just a quick disclaimer, anything that we say here today, anything that we go over, it's not financial advice. We are just sharing what we are looking at in the markets and what we are personally trading. So definitely do your own research. We are here just to educate you and go over some charts. So excited to get this kicked off. Bates, how are you feeling today?
Doing all right. Doing good. Doing well.
Amazing, amazing. Interesting price action the last couple of days, huh?
Oof, it's been brutal for any bulls.
Yes.
Especially the ones that got bullish at 90, 96, 97K. It's not been kind.
Yes. Yes, 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 absolutely. I'm
You
gonna.
got the big accounts already deleting tweets, unfortunately.
Oh, oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, big
Yeah.
accounts that were saying they were fully deployed at 97K, or those tweets are gone now, So,
Oh
yeah.
goodness. That,
Yeah.
yeah, that's not good. This is why you only say things that you are able to stand by for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So
Well, and look, I
that's
think it would have been
important.
fine if they were wrong, right? Like it's okay to be wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't wanna come off like I'm trying to pretend like I'm never wrong. But
Yes.
the deleting tweets part is the part that I would say is, in my opinion, wrong,
Yes.
because you're misleading people. New people coming in, following these big accounts. If you're only leaving up the tweets and the posts that make you look like you're right all the time, but you've got a history of having mixed outcomes at best, I could say.
Mm-hmm.
It is misleading, and I think it's, like, sure, it's unfortunate for new people that are coming in and getting fooled, but it's even more unfortunate for some of these guys that have put in years building these businesses and these brands and these communities, and for them to basically put all that at risk because they're trying to, play this optics game of, I'm never wrong. And it's a sad thing. Look, I mean, if you understand what attrition is, unless these guys are, able to go out and acquire new, fresh, um, inexperienced users that don't know their history, don't know their tendencies and all of that. If they're not able to acquire new users faster than the rate that they're losing their existing user base due to loss of trust, um, unethical things like this, like, eventually that's not sustainable. It's worse than a Ponzi. It's going to collapse. So, yeah, I feel bad for some of these guys. They just they're playing a dangerous game, and it's gonna
Mm-hmm.
bite them in the cheeks one of these days. So, yeah.
No, absolutely. This is the thing too. Like I have always had um the information on historical data, right? I have always been a believer in it. I've always talked about it for many, many years. Like you could go back, as far as 2021 and 2022, and you'll find my posts. And of course, even prior to that in Telegram, if you are in certain Telegram communities.
Right.
And so, does it mean I'm going to go back and now delete everything if for some reason things are different this time and we create a new all time? I absolutely not. I'll be the first one to
No.
admit that, hey, you know what? I was completely wrong about it. And,
Yeah.
and here's why, this is what happened, and this is my
Yep.
plan going forward. And so you got to be willing to, like, you're not always going to be right. And
Right.
so that is super important for you to kind of, as a KOL, you have to make sure that you are standing by your words. You don't have to say something that you then have to end up deleting. That's
Correct.
just not how it works. And so we, at the end of the day, nobody's really telling anyone to do certain things certain
Right.
ways. Like we are all here, we are all learning, right? It's amazing. Like we're
Yeah.
like nobody's gonna be like complete expert at every single thing that they do. And so it's a constant learning, and you should be able to stand by your words. And
Mm.
um absolutely. But so far historical data has been working
Yeah.
out great.
So
Exactly.
far, it has
So far.
been spot on, absolutely spot on. And I think maybe today, like, we can look a little bit at that March of 2022 period and see if maybe there's some similarities there. We can dive into that. But I definitely want
Yes.
to cover like the current range,
Yes,
because
let's do that.
we're like, I don't want to say that anything's broken yet, but
Mm-mm.
we're on a very fine line right now where, depending on how this next week or couple weeks play out, things could,
Mm-hmm.
potentially break here. So yeah, we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to open with that, not to like sidetrack our usual market discussion, but it's relevant. Like, and here's like something for anyone listening. Really, the only difference between people that you're watching on stream and yourself is that people are turning on the camera. They're sharing the process, right? There's really no other
Mm-hmm.
difference. And sure, there's like time, there's experience, there's all these other things, right? There's maybe varying levels of success and results over time. But at the end of the day, it's like it's really just people that choose to share and document some of the journey and document some thoughts and ideas and things like that versus people that don't. People that are only consuming, they're not producing anything, they're not putting anything out into the marketplace. And that's fine. That's fine. I don't think everyone needs to feel the need to put stuff out there and put themselves out there, but you just have to understand it's very easy to be criticizing from the bleachers, right? Like being loud from the bleachers, but it's totally different when you get down onto the field or on the court. It's just not the same thing, right? And it's like, just be careful. Don't lose sight of that, guys. So yeah, bringing it back, like I don't know that I'm criticizing anyone for being wrong or having a bad take. I'm criticizing maybe the ego, the conviction that can become like that overzealous ego, and then also like hiding when you're wrong instead of just accepting it, being transparent, just saying, look, I didn't see this. I messed that up. I took a bad trade. Whatever. It happens. Right. So
Exactly. Stand by it.
be honest. Like that's the one thing. It's really hard. My parents taught me this from a very young age, but it's like trust is something that takes a long, long time to earn. It takes a lot of work, takes a lot of time to earn
Mhm.
trust, but you can lose it instantly. In a second, you can lose it. So that's the one thing that you should be trying to protect above all is, protect be true to those people that have placed some form of trust in you, right? Just don't screw that up. Don't mess with that.
Absolutely. And you owe it to your community, like especially if you're a
Yeah.
KOL, you absolutely owe it to your community to be honest and stand by your words. You're not always going to
Yes.
get all the calls right, but just make sure that you have that trust with them.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, look, I just want to quickly go over this and then I'm happy to hand it back to you, Lady Trader, and have you, maybe share, if you want to go back through like that March period. I think that was an interesting period to go through. But yeah,
Hmm.
look, I'm still kind of maintaining what I've been talking about over the last week or so, which is that if we're really just being pretty unbiased about this and we're just looking at the information for what it is on the chart here, nothing's really broken so far in this range. Like you're still just ranging. You're still just doing bottom of the range to top of the range, bottom of the range to top of the range. Nothing's really broken. So at some point, this will break though. This
Hmm.
can't go on forever. It can go on maybe a few more times, right? But it can't go on forever.
Hmm.
At some point, it'll have to pick a direction. It'll
Hmm.
either break to the downside, and then you'll have something like that, or on another push up, you maybe get a break to the upside. But right now, nothing is really broken about this structure. So a lot of people losing their minds about what's actually happening here. And the truth is, it's just ranging, right? You can have
Hmm.
not all ranges are perfectly horizontal, although most of this price action you can really kind of put between, I'd say, like 85K and 95K is really your range. But
Hmm.
yeah, if you look at it like this, I mean, it just kind of helps to reset your perspective and just recognize that nothing's really broken here. This is still just ranging, um, still ranging within a macro downtrend. Like we are still
Hmm.
downtrending, but you are still ranging in this period here. And you've got a very clear level of support below, and then you've got some resistance overhead, right? As depending on how high you go, you have additional levels to worry about to the upside. But this is still pretty clear, pretty straightforward. And I continue to kind of just urge people to check your bearishness near the bottom of this range and then check your bullishness near the top of the range. This is just a pretty simple way to think about it. If you get long positions at the bottom of the range, it's okay to be bullish up here, but I'm more speaking to people that are like opening fresh long positions at the high, as opposed to
Mm-hmm.
people that maybe opened long at the lows and then they're holding on, with a positive expectation of higher, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's different. Same thing with like when I say check your bearishness. If you opened short near the top of the range, it's okay to continue to be bearish down here and have a general expectation of lower. I'm really just saying I don't know that it's highly favorable to be looking to open fresh short positions near the bottom of the range. Like those are two simple things that have when I've applied them and followed it, it's kept me generally out of trouble, which is don't short into support or at support, and
Mm-hmm.
don't long into resistance or at resistance, right? Like try and keep that, very clear in your mind. If you're near a support or at a support, there's a pretty good chance it bounces again until it doesn't. So you kind of want to know that and recognize that. And if you're at a resistance or near a resistance, there's a pretty good chance you're going to reject until it doesn't. And so if you just play those odds and those probabilities, it keeps you out of trouble a lot of the time. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. So um yeah, so look, I mean, we're kind of watching here, recognizing that there's also a lot of liquidity down here for BTC. There's a lot, Lady Trader. I even went and looked at some of the heat maps. There's definitely some here. There is a lot that built up here, though. There's a lot that built up there as well. So we've got liquidity on both ends of the channel, which is to be expected, right? This is how liquidity gets hunted, to the top, to the bottom of
Mm-hmm.
these ranges. Let's see what happens. I still think at this point that even if this is going to go higher, when we were back here in this range, I kept saying it on our streams that it's like, man, it really would make sense if they would just sweep that liquidity and then go higher. Well, we got this
Mm-hmm.
move up, but we never really got the sweep of that liquidity. So that liquidity remains here. It is still resting here. It's still waiting. Wouldn't be hard for this price action to dip down here, clear some of that, and then make a move at least to the middle of this channel. I think would make sense here, right? If it's
Mm-hmm.
going to reject, like you could get that lower high there. If for whatever reason this dips down, grabs liquidity, and it's able to work its way back up to the top of the channel, you definitely want to be a little bit cautious near the top of that channel. Things would get pretty loud up here, just like a lot of your favorite KOL influencer accounts were really loud here about being fully deployed and how this time is different and this time you should be bullish and this is not the same as every other push back here. This one is different. And then
Yep.
bam, right? So it does happen. Um, Look, I didn't catch any of this short side here. So I wasn't able to participate in any of that, but I'm happy to participate on a potential opportunity down here to do something like that. Or
Mm-hmm.
if this does come down and just melts through all of this, I am happy to participate in something like that as well, which would be kind of like that bearish retest after a big wipeout. So at this point, because the areas where I was looking for a bounce for that continuation up did not did not happen and did not hold. The next level I'm really looking to play is down here. I want to see a sweep of this liquidity. I want to see what happens down here about 85, maybe even a little bit lower, like 84, 85. If
Mm-hmm.
it can move down and buyers can step in and we can kind of see some bullish energy come back in, I'd be willing to play that maybe on a retest or something to see if we can't get it back up here, at least to probably about 92 to 94, and maybe leave a little runner piece in case we can, by some miracle, come back up and see 98 to 100K again. I'd be willing to do that. But otherwise, if we do break down from here, and it's looking like it wants to break down, if it does break down and we just see this thing just absolutely cascade and just melt, I'm probably not going to jump in on any of that. I really don't jump into these momentum plays, but I'd be very much watching either this weekend or next week for a move back up here, whether it comes back up to the top of the channel or if it just comes back into like this zone here again. I'd be looking for a move back into that for a potential short opportunity on a bearish retest that would then take us back down into the lower zone, like around the 70s. So this is kind of how I'm looking at the market. Those are my general expectations and my general views at this time, based on what's happening on the chart.
Perfect. Are you in any active trades right now, Bits?
No, I'm waiting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sidelined and waiting. Yeah.
Yeah. I know Shane took a trade off of 97K short. So really
Wow.
good job. I
Yeah.
know some people
Fantastic.
in the community are crushing it, absolutely, and they
Yep.
are taking these trades. And I am, of course, when the markets are green, I'm looking at more small cap, and then of course looking
Yes.
for opportunities to go long at certain levels. We are at
Yep.
key levels too right now, so this is going to
Yeah.
be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
How anything else, Bits, that you want to cover as far as like other plays or any small caps that you may be in?
No, I haven't really looked at anything recently, just because when BTC is melting like this, everything else is usually taking a pretty good beating. The only other alt that I've really been keeping an eye on is Zcash here. So I picked up some spot Zcash. I was looking to also get into a perp trade, but I'm not as convinced of that anymore here. I guess it'll depend. This tends to move, or it was moving inverse to BTC. So this would like get pumps when BTC was dumping, and then it dumped when BTC started pumping. I don't know if that's going to be the case. This here right now still looks like it just kind of deviated below these lows. I'd probably need to see a pretty good push, but if it pushed up and then did some kind of pullback over the next like day or so, or during an overnight session or something, I may look to get something back up here, at least to like this 1 month level on Zcash, but maybe potentially up here.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the biggest thing is I'd want to see if this is still going to move opposite to BTC, or is it just going to get in line with all the other alts now that most of the Zcash hype is probably done at this point. So yeah, this one's an interesting one. I'm kind of watching it for, it really needs to reclaim this general zone. If it can do that, if it can get a push back up, and then really I'd be waiting for that retest confirmation on this. I probably wouldn't jump in on just momentum. I'd wait for a nice deep pullback, probably 50% of whatever that pump is. So if it does get a pump, I'd probably look for a retrace to about 50% of whatever that pump ends up being. 50 to 60%. And then I'd be looking for a potential to jump in case it's going to look something like that. And it was just basically a fake out down here, followed by a move back up to the top of this range. So yeah, this is really the only one that's kind of been interesting to me. A lot of them are moving. I've been watching Doge as well and stuff, but Zcash is the only one. Litecoin, I picked up some Litecoin spot as well on that dump. But same thing, it's like I'm not as sure if I'm ready to jump into a levered position here just yet. Unfortunately, like the more time that passes, I think there's a potential that Litecoin could pump up here back up to like 80, but it might be bearish. I may be flipping this green zone red, and this potentially may be another big short opportunity for Litecoin down here to like 55 to 60. So yeah, we'll see. I'll probably, if we do come up here, I'm going to get rid of the spot that I picked up, and at least hedge with a leverage short, and then make that decision. But yeah, we'll see what happens here. This one sold off heavily. So it's part of the reason why I was looking at it, and Zcash was just at an interesting level on its chart. But other than that, just BTC and ETH really are the ones that I'm kind of using. ETH really just as like a proxy in case I see like volume come into ETH before I see it come into BTC. I'll know to be watching. This one yesterday, I don't know what stream did I do this on yesterday. Maybe the Wolf stream that I did yesterday. I can't remember. I do so many dang streams, but I was talking about this one. This one was below this little accumulation range when BTC was not yet below that accumulation range. And so my words were, one of these is lying. Either Ethereum is going to have a big bounce if it holds that level on BTC, or BTC is going to wipe out below that. And it ended up being that one. BTC wiped out. So it looks like ETH is leading a little bit, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Oh, that makes sense. ETH tends to do that quite a bit.
It is doing that right now. Yeah, it led to the downside. It lost key structure before BTC did, and it gave you plenty of time where it sat below structure while BTC was still above structure, and then you saw the big wipeout on BTC. So that's really the only reason I'm watching ETH. I don't know if I'm looking to trade ETH over BTC. I like trading BTC, but I feel like it's signaling a little bit right now ahead of the moves on Bitcoin.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like sometimes it does that. So this is definitely interesting. Anything else, Bits?
No, that's it. That's it. I'm waiting. I want to see some nice sweeps, hopefully tonight. And then we'll see if we get a chance to position in the next like 24 hours. But yeah, what a crazy week.
Yeah, it's been an interesting week for sure. A couple of things that I wanted to go over. So I'm going to bring up my chart here. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, here, I'll take
I want to make sure I have the right
What's up,
charts
Crank?
up.
We got Crank in the house. What's up, brother?
Okay, right here.
Truth Seeker with
And
the
then,
repost. Thank you. We had Derek.
yes,
Good evening. Very cool, guys.
thank you for tuning in. Let me see if I can find that tweet that I wanted to discuss today as well. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. I think it's this one. Yep. Okay, so we've kind of discussed this on some of our previous stream, and I want to bring your attention to this one. This is something that we covered live. This was when Solana was sitting at about $124, and we were looking at this move and then subsequent moves after that. And what we were hoping was a move like this to this level right here, and then maybe a retracement off of that, and potentially even higher. Like we discussed it quite a bit, right? That maybe we'll come here and maybe reverse here, or we could even go as high as this 200 EMA. So we were looking for, remember the death cross setup, right? This is the death cross right here, 200 EMA crossing over 50 EMA. What's the next thing that happens? Price goes back and retests the 50. And then, of course, potentially some of the EMAs above it. And this is an 800 EMA. So this was a major EMA that we were looking for a bounce here. And so for this kind of move, I mean, if you look at it, this is actually playing out so far exactly the same. To the point where I don't like it anymore. I'm like, you know what? Stop. Just go up a little bit. Because we're doing so good with, in the meme coin trenches. So it's like, just go up, Solana. Don't do this. Even though I drew these lines, right? This is what we did. We draw the lines, and people say, this thing like TA is not work. TA doesn't work. I mean, it really depends on what you are seeing on the charts, how much chart time you've had. It's not going to be like you cannot just buy a manual and read it and then become a chart expert. It's not how it works. You have to have years and years of experience and your eyes on the chart to be able to actually read, and charts will communicate to you what the next move is going to be potentially.
Yep.
You're not going to always get it right, but you're going to get it right most of the time. That's the key. But chart time is important. If you're not reading the charts, if you're not spending time with the charts, you're not going to understand it. I'm even learning, like, I'm not traditionally from the meme coin sector, right? I've always worked with major projects, and I still do. And then that's what I'm focusing on. I'm not going to work with meme coins. But what I like to do is I like to trade meme coins. I like to buy meme coins sometimes. And because you cannot ignore them, the narratives can be hot, and you can make some good money doing that. And so even for meme coins, there are so many things that I've learned this year. It's phenomenal, because I did not have enough meme coin chart time, right? I've had the majors and the Bitcoin and all of those things, commodities and forex. Meme coins can be a different beast, and you have to understand human psychology a lot more there than for anything else. And so it's important to have that chart time, very, very important. But look at this. I mean, it even did some of the moves that we were drawing, like, a little bit of a retracement here, exactly the way, and then it didn't give a big retracement here, but maybe slightly, and then it went up, and this was really what I was saying, is it's going to cross above this. It did not on this Coinbase chart, which is where I drew this, so I wanted to bring it up. But if you look at like Binance and some of the other charts, this actually did go up to 800 EMA and then retraced off of it. And so it's exactly like it played out, just exactly how I drew it. And now the question is, are we going to sweep these lows again? Or are we making our way up high, which is what I would like to see? Maybe take out some of the lows here, maybe this low, or even this one, right? This is a major level right here, which is your yearly and monthly open. Bitcoin is also coming very close to that yearly and monthly open. So this is a good level to see how price reacts off of this, and maybe we could get another move up. Or is it gonna potentially just continue? Like, even though I drew it, I don't want this to do that. Like right now, like, no, don't do it. January and February, don't do that. Please don't do that. But markets are not gonna be looking for, like, they don't move off of hopes and prayers. Markets move the way markets move. So you just have to be ready for that. But it's so far working out exactly how we drew it during a live stream. And so it's one thing to show up, like I've always said, it's one thing to show up and take a screenshots of your P&L and post it on your Twitter or somewhere else and say, oh, look at this much, I made this much money, or I did this. Well, how do you know? Like, did you share this setup prior to you taking it? No, most people don't do that. They just want to brag about their screenshots of their P&L. They're not going to tell you beforehand, before the setups even happen. Like in this case, we were right here, right? It takes some chart time to be able to say, okay, it's going to go down and then it's going to go up, and then it's going to retest this level, and then it's going to have a big rejection off of it. And so really that's it. It takes time and the confidence to be able to call these trades before they happen. That's the key. And so anyone who tells you these things prior to it playing out, you got to pay attention to them, and you got to say what they're talking about. And when I mentioned how Solana did, like if you look at it on some of the other charts, it did exactly what I was anticipating, 800 EMA. Like it did go to it, and then it had a big rejection off of that because it's a major level. And now we are just hanging out here. So what's going to be the next move? Potentially this liquidity, right? This is a good area to see. Maybe it will come down a little bit and then find support here, or this is a good level, and also this is a good level, and maybe we just go all the way down, like exactly how I drew it. So we'll see. I don't want to be right fully here, because I don't want it to crash through the lows, because the meme coins are so hot right now and I'm liking it. But it's okay if it does that, because there's always going to be place that you can catch both ways. And of course, I also want to position myself short. I did not take this short. I did catch most of the long side. I did not catch the short side yet, because I'm not convinced that this is it, especially looking at BTC right now. So I want to go over that a little bit. So Bitcoin, so far, remember guys, we were talking about, like when we were here, you can go back, look at the old streams. And when we were here, both Bits and I, we were thinking price is going to go up. He had a lot of reasons. Of course, the liquidity that's sitting up there, that was, a lot of reasons, big levels here. And for me, it was this death cross that everybody started to talk about on crypto. And when they see this death cross, they become super bearish. And so when you're sitting here and then people are catching up and saying death cross, that means markets are going to go up, because most of the time the herd is wrong. Majority of traders don't get these things right. That's why 95% of the traders lose money. And so what you look at it when you have the chart time, that every time there's a death cross, price always goes up and retests the 50 EMA. And then in a lot of cases, even 200 EMAs, which is exactly what happened in March of 2022. If you take a look at your chart, last bear market, February and March, we were seeing the same similar setups there. And so what I'm looking for is for price to potentially even move to this area, which is why I was not interested in taking the short position here. And this could very well be the top. Like this could be it. Like we may be just going down now from here on.
There's a chance. Yeah, there's definitely a chance.
Yes, but look at this one too, like monthly and yearly, right? This is a level that we were talking about, 87.5. It had a nice little reaction off of it. So we'll see if this one holds. Maybe we get lucky and it will, go up here, and maybe we can get a nice setup, maybe 100 or even 102. This is what I would love to see, that, and maybe take some positions off, off of these levels. And so, but this level was pretty awesome for those of you who took it. I know some of you did. take this trade from the community, from Alpha Seedlings, and congrats to you if you caught it. Pretty good setup, like really awesome setup. And so some of you are absolutely crushing it. It's on a day-to-day basis. So this is incredible. Now, of course, what are we seeing? Here's the level that we are watching, right? It's already retracing off of this, finding some support. Let's see if this holds, and then we have the level here. Then, of course, these levels, and this is another level where at least
Is
the
that the
first
800?
reaction. This is 800. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, could
So this is
get
another level.
tagged. Yeah, it could get
Yeah,
tagged.
could get tagged. It could get tagged and then a rejection off of
Right.
it, or a reversal off of it, and then maybe we go up. So we'll see. This is going to be in a range with Bitcoin dominance is still very, very high. So this is why your
Yeah.
altcoins are not moving. And by the way, while we're talking about altcoins, make sure that if you own a Solana Seeker phone, that you do claim your rewards. SKR airdrop was sent out to you. It depends on what tier you are in. I think the max you could have gotten was like close to 10,000, and the minimum was like $60 or something like this. So and I think it's at a good level too, like SKR. It did not have a usual airdrop dump that you normally see. Maybe people haven't claimed it yet so far, but it's looking good. It's at a good valuation too, considering that it's coming out of Solana directly. It's something to keep an eye on. So definitely claim your airdrop. You have until April 20th to claim, and you can also stake it to earn a nice yield that they are offering right now, which is very interesting as well. So definitely wanted to throw it out there. But I want to go back to March and February and March of 2022. I know we've talked about it on a stream numerous times, myself and Bits of Well, because we are both seeing a lot of similarities, right? And it's funny because it was at the same EMAs too. This is so incredible. So remember, when we did something like this even recently, not too long ago, I kept saying, whenever you are standing on one leg, you're only going to hold for so long. It's not going to always work out. And then that's exactly what we saw happening back then. So this was happening really from January to about March. You had February and March kind of closing green, right? 2 green months, which is what I'm also calling for, potentially a couple of green months. But it's different this time, and I'm going to get to it in a little bit here. But before we come back to that, look at this, exactly the same, right? 50, 200 to 50 EMA. This is your death cross. Price went up, price retested 50, and then it also went to retest 200 EMA, even closing above 200 EMA. Because remember what it does. And this is also important. I'm going to zoom in here because this is how the markets will fool retail traders. So price closes above 200 EMA, right? And when it does this, people are going to be extremely bullish, and they'll be like, oh my goodness, price is already crossed above that 200 EMA. This is it. Like, we are so back. And then look at what happened. They are all waiting for a retest of 200 EMA so they can go long, right? That's what we want to do. And markets give you that. They give you a retest of 200 EMA and a very bullish looking candle. So what the retailers are thinking, especially if they are not really understanding the historical data and the 4-year cycle, which has been, by the way, working great this time around as well. And it's been consistent, ever since Bitcoin was born. So there's a lot of data there that we cannot just ignore and say, oh, it's going to be different this time. Well, let it be different this time. And then we can come back to the table next year and say, oh, yeah, it was different this time. Or no, it worked out exactly the same. Let's give it time, right? We can't just predict it's going to be different this time. You have to be robotic when it comes to these decisions. You cannot be emotional. And so look at this one here, right? This is a green candle. And this is where people were probably super bullish and even bought, and market even gave you a little bit of this, right? Oh my gosh, we are going to be so back. This is going to be amazing. And then look at what happened. Very quickly, the stop losses were hit and everybody was trapped. And then, of course, it got crushed. But this is how markets will fool you sometimes. And if you don't have the experience to understand how the markets move, you will be definitely going long here and thinking, oh, you know what, we are now going to fly, we are so back. And no, that's not the case, right? You got crushed if you went buying here. So I'm thinking something similar could still happen, right? Where price does close above 200 EMA, and maybe we get a nice little rejection off of that. Is that always going to be the case? No, right? This is just something that I'm thinking, it's a thesis that I have. Maybe we do it, maybe it won't work out. So we'll see
what's
how
that
it
level look like currently? What's the 200 at for today's price action? Like what is that?
Let's go back to that. It's going to be close to that 100, probably right here. Okay, so it comes down
98.99.
99.3,
Yeah.
yeah. And it closes above, a little bit. So I'm thinking, the same level bits like that we've been kind of talking about, 100, 202,
Yeah.
that, it could definitely do something like this. So it will be interesting to watch. Of course, we also saw, you saw in 2022, let me go back to that because I want to make a nice comparison to what we are seeing here. This one here, this move, a
Yep.
retest of this, right?
Yep.
We have not seen this one. We saw something that happened like right here in the current time,
Yeah, but
but
not like that.
something like this, yeah.
Yep.
So maybe we could see
Could be
something like
what's setting
this,
up.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it could do something like this, right?
And it makes
And
sense
we
because
can.
a lot of these moves, if it's going to go all the way back across the range, like anytime you're talking about these channels that like volatility channels, or you're talking about just a
Hmm.
range, you have to go grab some fuel um, almost outside of the range or very close to outside of the range to propel you all the way across, right? It
Hmm.
reminds me of you guys remember the movie Interstellar? And they had to use, I can't remember like if it was a planet or a moon, they had to use it as like a gravitational slingshot effect. Sometimes you
Hmm.
have to do that in these channels. It requires you to like go outside enough to create that slingshot effect. So that's why I'm currently
Hmm.
watching like that 84. Since we didn't get the higher low at about like 92, 93 is kind of where I was like watching, right? Maybe 91.5 would have been the lowest I would have been willing to watch for. We didn't get
Hmm.
that. There's really no other level that is interesting to me for like a big move unless you sweep that 84, 85, maybe even
Hmm.
down as low as like, it could go down as low as like 83 or 80, 82 and change. What is that 800 at
83,
right now?
yes.
Yeah, I mean,
83.
yeah,
That's, yeah.
100%. Like it's right there. So we could be setting up for a move like that, and then that would give us the fuel that you need to then go back all the way across the range in the opposite direction. So
Absolutely.
and you have to
Yep.
think of the sentiment, right? Like if we
Hmm.
break down there to that 800 again, what's the sentiment going to be like from retail traders? It's over. It's
That's over.
over. This,
Exactly.
we're going to 60K. That's going to be the
Exactly.
sentiment. And maybe it does.
Maybe we will.
Maybe
Yeah,
it
maybe
does.
we will see that. Yeah.
But
Maybe
you
this
know,
was it. Yeah.
yeah, maybe this was it exactly. Like maybe that does happen. But you just have
Hmm.
to recognize that anytime that sentiment and price gets really extended like that,
Hmm.
you
No,
you you,
absolutely.
you do tend to get those reversals.
Yeah, no, absolutely you do. Crypto Crank, be proud of those P&Ls, Lady Trader Rob. We work hard for those. No, absolutely.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm proud of my P&Ls, but what I was really getting to is that when it can be misleading, right? Because how
Yeah.
do we know? I can post a P&L and I can say, hey, you know what? I've taken this trade. Look at how much money I made.
Yeah.
And how do you know this was it? Like maybe I
Yeah.
was in other 10 trades where I lost everything. Maybe I blew my account. You don't know any of that. You don't know the background, right? And
Yeah.
so the best form of recognizing who the best traders are out there is you look at what they have posted beforehand. Like, okay, I'm looking at this is what's happening, I think this is what's going to happen, and this is a trade that I'm going to be taking personally. And then you just watch out for that. So that's definitely, yeah, exactly, you want to make sure that
Yeah.
just make sure to show how you did your trade. And
Yeah.
then
No,
also
no,
like beforehand, right? Like
yeah.
don't say, hey, I did this is how it worked out. No, like no, why weren't you confident enough to show it before you took this trade? Like what we are talking
Correct.
about here, right? We're talking about maybe this is going to happen and maybe we will have a trade here and we'll take it up all the way here. Or right here is also was something that I did mention, that maybe
Yep.
it did find support here, and we are showing you exactly why we think this could be the case, because it's happened before. History does rhyme. It's not going to exactly repeat, but it does rhyme a lot of times, especially in
Yep.
crypto. So we'll see how this one plays out for sure. I'm interested to watch this level, and then of course here too, like it could just continue to go up, or like we are getting super close. This is another thing to remember. Before I get to that, remember I said it could be different this time, so let's get into this as well. It could be different this time because the yearly close is super ugly, my friends. This is
Brutal.
not good. This is very, very
Is
ugly.
this
Like even
the
if.
ugliest yearly close we've ever had? It might be, right? I don't
Yes,
know.
it is. It is. Yes. And I've
Uh,
said it, like, I think we covered it on another stream. This
uh,
is the ugliest yearly close in the history of Bitcoin. We have never seen anything like this. This is a yearly um, bearish candle like this, like a bearish, what do you call it? Oh my God, like a bearish hammer. and bearish doji, whatever you want to call it. This was
Gravestone
not.
looking thing. I don't know what
Yeah,
that is. Just
yeah.
horrible
It's
looking.
but it's like, this is a
Yeah.
bad candle.
Yeah.
Like, this is a bad boy. You don't want to mess with it. It's kind of like inverse of this, really.
Yeah.
So if I were to invert my charts, right, like Bitcoin does, or I'm
Yep.
sorry, not Bitcoin, Bitcoin Wealth loves to invert his charts. So if
Yeah.
I was to invert my chart and I look at this, look at what happened. We got so many years of
Yeah.
bullish price action after this, right? And this candle is exactly this, but inverse of this.
Yeah.
So this is scary, my friend. This is not a good news. And so when we say it's gonna
What's
be
funny
different this
though
time,
is what's
mm-hmm,
funny, Lady Trader, is that like, and I'm calling this out because I think we have to touch on this.
mm-hmm,
There are some people that are pointing to that close and they're saying that close was so ugly that the
mm-hmm,
next one has to be amazing. It has to be super green, right? And another example of this is people are saying crypto has underperformed all of last year. Like everything else is at all-time highs. Bitcoin and crypto is not. Therefore, because it's been doing like crap, it has
mm-hmm.
to be about to do amazing, right? And it's I just want you guys to
No.
stop for a moment and just check your logic. Where in life does that apply? I have an employee, she's underperforming, everyone else is performing, this employee is underperforming. Should I then assume because she hasn't met any of her deadlines, or he, because they have not met any of their deadlines, because they never show up on time, because they're not growing, they're not performing, and they're not making progress, they're probably going to be my next all-star? That makes total sense. Like, no, that's not how it works, right? Because my car has been giving me nothing but trouble. It's been breaking down constantly. I keep fixing one thing after another, and it just keeps breaking. This car is about to be the most reliable dang car I've ever seen in my life. No, come on, guys, wake up. Jesus. Like that logic just doesn't make sense. It's hopium and copium at best. It doesn't work like that. Oh, this investment property that I bought has been my worst purchase by far. Everything else has appreciated. This one has not. Everything else I've been able to raise the rent on. This one I have not. Every single other property, I've been able to maintain it under contract all of the time with no lapse in between, with amazing renters. This one has been the worst one. I can't keep anyone in here. When I get someone in here, they trash the place. I'm constantly pouring money into it. It's not appreciating. You know what? I think that's going to be my top performing property next year because it's done so horribly. Guys, it does not work like that. Jesus, like it just think about it. Just think about it. How does that make any sense? But we've got influencers, KOLs, we've got people on macro spaces that are supposed to be professionals and are supposed to be certified and know all of these things, and they're on the talking show heads and they're doing all that stuff, and they're giving you those crap examples. They're saying those ridiculous things, and people are gobbling it up, and I'm just thinking, like, how the hell did society get so retarded? Like, how is everyone so stupid that common sense has just gone out the window? I don't understand how it works, but it doesn't add up to me. It just does not add up to me that when something is doing really bad, ooh, it's probably about to be really good. How does that work? Come
Mic
on.
drop. Mic drop bits. Yeah, you couldn't have said it better. This is, yeah, exactly. It makes no sense because this has underperformed. Somehow it's going to perform really good this year when the charts are telling you exactly like the opposite story, right? And so if we say it's going to be different this time, it's not a good story to tell, really, if it is going to be different this time, because look at what happened when we had a candle like this. This is exactly this candle, but inverted. This is exactly what it is here. And look at what happened after that. This was not good, right? This was good for us because we were bullish. But if you're looking at the other side of the story, if you invert the chart, this is ugly, right? So if
Yeah.
this was to play out here, yeah, it could be different this time. I don't think it's going to be, but if you want to, put that theory to test that it's going to be different this time, then you should be looking at it this way. I definitely see this candle is going to be engulfed fully. We are going to be
Mm-hmm.
looking at possibly under 40K, maybe even lower than that. That's definitely
Oof.
going to be in the works, but ugliest close, which is why I said, it could be different this time. Maybe this was it. Maybe what we just did was the top and now we are done. Like, this is it. We are just going to crash from here. So maybe that's, that's going to be the case. And so we'll see how this plays out. But this was a very ugly close, and you should not be bullish after you see something like this. This is like ABC. Like if I was to ask my daughter, my little daughter, and I show her this, charts basic, right? She will be able to tell, oh, mama, this is bad. Like, this is bearish. Get out. Like, this is so simple. Like even a child would be able to, who understands the basics of chart reading, will be able to tell this is ugly. So be mindful of that. Charts are telling you a story. You look at it, right? And then see if that it does get invalidated, then you can go the other direction. But right now, this is looking very ugly, especially on a yearly candle like this. This is a very high time frame too, right? One of the highest time frames that you could go, probably 5-year and 10-year chart, which we don't even have here on my chart, on my setup at least. We don't look at it, right? So 1-year chart is the max that most of us are going to look at, and this is telling you a story that's super ugly. So be mindful of that. And then going back to this, I want to actually go to weekly chart, because this is also going to be very important to kind of look at. So we're talking about price doing something like this here, right? This was the area, and Bits has talked about it repeatedly. I've talked about it many times. And look at what happened. Price went up here and got rejected off of that 50 EMA, right? Created this little candle, and then it went down, created this low, which is what we were just talking about, right? That we will see something like this potentially, and then maybe we go up. And it's really what's happening right now. We've just done this. This is this candle right here. It just tagged that 50 EMA on weekly, and it retraced, and now we are thinking maybe something like this, and then we move up. So let's see. But what's really scary to me is that we are now, if you start counting the weeks, we are getting very close to that.
Yeah,
we
we're
are
running
still
out
a
of
couple of
time.
weeks away. We are running out of time. Yeah. So it needs to do that very quickly. So maybe this week we see something like this, and then the next couple of weeks, we just quickly go up, and then, that's it. But we are running out of time here. So it could be like, this could be it. We may not even get this move.
Everything's pumping right now. Everything's pumping.
Yeah.
If you go into the lower time frames, and people are, I don't know why people do this. Like it's pumping and they're aping in again.
Yeah. I mean, this was a level, right? This was a level we were.
It was, and it could go. It looks green so far.
Yes. And you know what also, now you guys will be able to see this, because I've talked about it so many times. This level actually, when it did close above, it also retested here. So this is a much beautiful. And if I were actually watching right now, I probably would have called out this trade to go,
that big candle right there
I would
was
have taken
interesting.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And
so
it could still pull back. Like a pullback to that daily open, could be an opportunity. So
yeah. I wonder if anyone took it from the community, because this is definitely like a signature trade that we do usually take in Alpha Seedling. So probably some people took this one, and the first TP would be this one, really, which is already hitting. So congrats if you're in the trade. If I was watching the smaller time frame, I would have called it live right now, because this is a signature setup that both Bits and I do take, especially off of this monthly and yearly. So this is working out good so far.
Trump
Let's see if we can get up a little bit.
Tariffs on Europe is what's moving the market.
Oh, okay, that's why. Okay, amazing. So let's send it. Yeah. Remember, another thing we were talking about, Bits and I, was the fair value gap that this thing has left. This was not a very healthy crash. It was not a healthy crash at all. Remember, price kind of crashed through this. So we were thinking that it was going to go, at least a little bit, maybe here, and then we are going to watch and see what price does here. But this is also going to be an important level now, 800 EMA, which is coming up here at about 92.4. So we'll see how price acts off of this. But this is a big fair value gap, which has to fill at some point. Maybe we get it soon enough, and maybe we do tag that level that Bits and I were talking about, right? So let's see if it does come back up, it engulfs. Maybe we get to tag this, which is going to be exactly right. And this is going to be the second criteria, is basically something like this, right from here, and then you crash it. The crash is coming. Like, that's nobody's going to say that's not going to happen. Like, the yearly chart is telling you that. So this is going to be the next move, right? So these are two possibilities. So we'll see which possibility works out here. And also, I would really like to see this to kind of give us that momentum to the upside. But these are two possibilities. So what am I looking for? Are now going to be short opportunities in this area somewhere, right? Could even go as high as 104. We'll see. Or even this area right here. I don't think it's going to go that far.
That 107 is kind of towards the extreme, like the upper extreme of where I'd be looking. Yeah. Because if you notice that 107, go back to your 12-month chart. Um, yeah. So watch this. That 107 is right around the top of that big green bar. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
So a
yeah.
lot of
And
times, like there's this 3 candle fractal right now that a lot of the ICT guys like to use. And
mm-hmm,
basically what it's made up of is 3 candles, like a big candle that pushes up. The second candle in the middle, which is the current red one, is a reversal candle, which usually looks exactly like this, a big wick to the upside, small body. And then the
mm-hmm,
third candle, which is the one that's currently opening and that's currently building, that one should ideally not go above the wick of that first candle. So, like if this is
mm-hmm.
gonna engulf all the way down to the bottom and it's gonna do that 3 candle, um, what do the ACT guys or the ICT guys call it? They call it AMD,
Mo-
accumulation, manipulation, distribution. It's this three candle fractal that they play.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we're in the distribution candle, which should distribute to the downside, but it can go up as high as the wick of that first candle, and still
Mm-hmm.
be valid. So you do have room to the upside, and it would need to happen like that. That initial, what they call that initial manipulation up, should happen earlier rather than later, meaning we would see that at the beginning of this 12-month candle, not towards the middle or the end of the 12-month candle. So it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like seasonality is perfectly in line with that. Like take it up there, get people excited, and then boom, engulf all of that to the downside for the rest of the 12-month candle. Like it would make perfect
Mm-hmm.
sense based on that strategy and thesis. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's what's funny about the 3 candle fractal is also it works out until like it will do the whole move, right? So it will
Hmm.
basically come down all the way. But and so this is why it's important to play this strategy on higher time frame than smaller time frame, because what happens on smaller time frames is that it will do something like this, engulf fully, and then boom, go up.
Yep.
So which is going to be again in line with, how we follow historical data, that we are going to be expecting the markets to bottom out somewhere in October this year. Like
Correct.
Bits and I are of that opinion, and we are strongly telling people to watch out. And remember, the same people who are now telling you that this is different this time, we are going to go up, we are going to create a new all-time high, are going to be the same people who are going to be debating you when you're sitting here, and they're going to be like, no, 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 it's going to go lower, 20K, 10K,
Yeah.
5K. That's what they're going to be looking for. And so we're going to be following, of course, our historical data, and we'll be looking for long opportunities, when October comes. It could be here, it could be even lower. We don't know where it's going to be, right? We are only making a thesis that at least it's going to take off this entire candle. So
Correct.
we'll see. I really go like, this is another thing that I want to be very, very specific about. I hate to give actual price predictions. They don't always work. You're going to be pleasantly surprised. What works is the days, the times, that with historical data. Like you can nail it to the T when you're looking at the week. Like you could go exactly as close to the day. Like I was only a couple of days off. Like I was thinking fifth or sixth is gonna be it. That's it. And I was very accurate there. And so you can get very, very close to that even on the monthly. Like you'll be like, okay, we are calling October to be the bottom. So if October we are sitting at 50K, I'm not gonna be, thinking, oh, it's gonna go lower. I'm just following the historical data at that point. October, I buy back. October and November for me are shopping months. That's when I buy. So I don't care where Bitcoin is. Bitcoin can be at 10K or it could be sitting at 50K. I'm okay with buying. So that's going to be my personal strategy. And so October being the bottom, very high probability according to historical data. We'll see how it works out. But yeah, just we are getting very, very close to some of the major levels. So be on the lookout for this. Enjoy the green markets while they last. There are tons of opportunities in small cap right now. I want to go over quickly bits. Anything else you want to cover before I kind of go over some of the setups that we called out in the group?
No, go for it.
Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna stop sharing this screen here, and actually, yeah, let me do that. Give me 1 second. I'll stop this one. I'm gonna bring in my other screen because we've been kind of talking about memes. Also, before I get into the meme, I want to make sure that I quickly throw this disclaimer out there. I am not partnered with any of these memes, by the way. They are all trash. And they're gonna probably all of them are gonna rug at some point. So I just want to call that out. So whenever it comes to memes, I'm very cautious about them. I like to get into some of them. Sometimes they have good communities, and I like that. I appreciate that. And I'm cautious when I'm in it. Like I don't do something where like whenever I'm trading memes, I'm trading them ethically, not like dumping the chart, like it's not going to be like a huge red raw sell candle type thing, right? I take my profits responsibly whenever I'm in a trade. These are calls that I have shared in the group as well of what I'm trading personally, what levels I'm watching, and how they play out. So quite a few really, really awesome trades we've caught in the group as well. So this was a level that I did call out in the group that we will probably see some sort of a rejection off of this. Probably what I was thinking was 4 mil to about $8 million, right? So this was the level that I've called out. So if anyone that caught this move, you're already in profit, so that's a good one here. I want to get into a few others that we were looking at as well. We have Reply Corp, of course. Reply Corp is not a meme coin. So Reply Corp, I have been an advisor to them. And I just want to call out because it is at a key level right now, and then also have a key level coming up here. So definitely potentially be watching for a move here. And also this is a level that I've identified prior. So watch out for these levels here. We did get into the pre-sale of this, and also some of you bought the dip on this and you caught this big move to the upside, which was pretty significant. So if you caught this move, big congratulations to you as well. I feel like OTG today sending out congratulations to everybody. This move.
That's funny.
But yeah, there are quite a few levels that we did catch. There was one. Let's look at what was it? Reckitt. Ryan, you were mentioning it as well. I'm gonna bring it up right here. Let's see. And Carl, you also mentioned this one. So yeah, remember yesterday. So this is like a project that I am, and there is also a little secret, and I don't know if I want to cover it today because I don't want to give that away to where potentially it doesn't work anymore. But I did say that at 186K, I did enter my trade. 186K. And so, and that was a level that I called out in Alpha Seedlings Telegram before I took this trade. So if you're not in my Telegram community, make sure that you DM me so I can get you added. You can also DM Bits of Wealth, right? That's our Alpha community where we share all of our setups. And so I did call this trade. I took it exactly at 186K. And I believe it was, where was it? It was actually this candle. So believe it or not, like exactly like 186K was my buy. So I bought it here, and I was anticipating something like this was going to happen. Like it was probably going to go below my buy, and I was okay with it, and it did. I held it through, and now it's going up. This is like one of those coins that I initially think it was like their dev was hacked, and I did believe that there was a lot of farming that was happening, and I feel like community has probably taken over at this point, and they are running it. So we'll see how it works out. But this is one of those dev scam coins where a group of scammers is going around creating coins for developers and saying, hey, you want to claim it, and we are giving you the content rewards. We are giving you the creator reward, not the content reward, the creator rewards. And all you have to do is just talk about us, and you're just getting paid. And developers get excited. They are not really traditionally from the meme coin sector, so they are being nice. They are wanting to help, and there's a community there that is looking forward to it as well. So they jump in and they help. And then what happens is most of those projects just rug. Some of them do take off, and some of them are just taken over by community. And so 186K was the level that I did call and said, hey, you know what, I'm buying it here. And I know some of you did get into it. Carl, I know you are in it as well. So again, congrats to those who did catch this one. Again, memes are complete trash. They can rug at any time. This does have a good dev that has actually built something meaningful, and he's supporting this. So maybe it will do something. I don't know. But this is really, this is looking good right now. So this was one of the calls that we talked about. Grandma was another one. And remember, this is the active one right now is the PSYOP meme or PSYOP anime. Let me go to that one. So this is the level that that I did identify was the 4 mil market cap. So that one is in profit. Let's see if we can push it up to 8 mil, right? Is it always going to be the case? No, but I would say 95% certainty for these trades that we've been kind of calling in the group, and they've been working out really, really, really well. Okay, I want to look at Ryanair. This was actually one that was going up quite a bit the other day. Let's see, which one was it? This one. Okay, so Ryanair, I did call out a level on this one, which was it's actually coming up to that level right now. So this is right in that box, actually, and a little bit under 500K even as what I was looking at. And so let's see if this one does play out here. So I'm looking at really anywhere here. This is like the level. So we'll see. The price might even find a support where it is right now. And what I'm targeting potentially is about 1 mil market cap on this. Now, again, these are, I don't even know them. I don't know the team. They could be complete trash here. Could rug, right? It's risky, but I may be willing to buy it in this area and see if I can catch a move up to, 1 to 2 mil market cap. We'll see. Maybe at least 1 mil, right? So we'll see how it works out. If it gives me that 400K entry, then maybe to 800K. So this is going to be one. Quite a few others. Let's see. There was one called Fartless, which apparently is by the Fartcoin dev. I have not verified any of that, so be mindful of that. This very, very risky, but the identified area was actually right where it did kind of this was the area here. So it was like 400 to 200K, and it did actually hit that. And so let's see. Oh my goodness, what happened here? Not this. So this is an interesting level here, between 400 and 200K. That was basically what I was looking for. And it did give us this area here. Okay, here we go. And then, of course, what am I targeting here? Potentially 800K. Could go over this as well, but 800K was really the target, the first take profit. So this is one of the trades. And then Cash Tag, which for some reason, some people were excited about it. I don't know much about this team. I have not really looked into it. I'm just basically looking at the chart. And so the level that I did call out on this, and it seems like it's also, no, it hasn't quite hit yet. So what I was looking at is between, so basically looking at this area here. And so it came very, very close. This was probably a good level as well, but this was another one, and it already made the move here. So we'll see if the price comes back down to this. But quite a few good setups that were called out that actually did perform really, really well. You have to be super cautious with these, with these memes. But yeah, we wreck it so far. I mean, it's done quite a few good numbers for us, and some really awesome one. We also called S&P 500. This is not the normal S&P, but S&P. This one actually, and it has a cute kitty. But this one actually, we did catch it super early. I believe it was like under 200K, if I'm not mistaken. And then we ran it all the way up to 3 mils. So we did get in super early on this one, caught the entire move. And so we'll see what happens here. There's a level here. Of course, this was a level somewhere right here. And so the price has to come back up to that level and then maybe make its move up. We'll see. Or maybe this is done. Like, it's rugged. And I know there were also some shady influences that were involved in this one. So this was a risky one, but hey, they ran it up to 3 mil, gave us a really, really awesome trade. So thank you for running it up. And so that was definitely a good one that we did catch. So last few days have absolutely been, we've been kind of printing these, and, they've been playing out really, really good. And yeah, Soul Boy is another one that I am interested in. Let me see. I can go back to that one. We need a good runner that has like the guy or boy type move, and it did actually hit the level very, very close. I was calling for between 80K and maybe 60K, somewhere around that, for an accumulation zone. And then of course, if you've got that 80K, then you're targeting, maybe 2 to 3x there. So we'll see if this level holds right here. And maybe it comes back down and maybe even give me another entry. So we'll see what happens on this one. This is also a risky one. Again, a lot of these kind of trades that I do take in the group have at least 95%, from what I've seen, they work out 5% of the time. Like if you're taking 95 trade or 100 trades, you're going to miss, probably five losers in that. So at least that's what I've seen based on so far the trades that I've taken. And again, risky ones, right? But we'll see if it does something here. This is an interesting one, and I like the graphics that this team is creating and everything. So we'll see. It was in a very good accumulation as well for many days, and then it made a move up. Maybe this is it. Or maybe if Bitcoin continues to keep running, we get some move to the upside as well. This is also an important thing to consider whenever you're trading meme coins. Bitcoin has to be green. If you get into some of these when Bitcoin is red, then you're definitely risking, more. And so I try not to get into a lot of trades when that's happening. So this is another one that I was actually looking at yesterday. It did a big move to the upside already, and so was really thinking maybe 2 to 400K, and maybe we get like a move up to about 800K. So missed on this one. I haven't been watching it today, but yesterday I was taking a look at it and it looked decent to me. So we'll see if it does move from here to maybe give us like a good move to 800K to a mil. But yeah, those are some of the ones. And I know Flying Catamine Horse is another one that we've covered quite a bit. That's like a favorite for Bits of Wealth. Bits, you were saying maybe if it goes under 2, this was the level that you were watching, right? You're still watching this?
Yeah, anywhere down there, anywhere below below that recent swing low that it put in, I think is like 3 mil. So anywhere between like 2 to 3 mil is like a horizontal zone that I have. But if it dipped below the low of that zone, which would be below that wick, under 2 mil, I think it'd be a great opportunity. But yeah, you could say there's like a horizontal support here, like a zone between 2 to 3 mil is where I'd place it.
Gotcha. Okay. No, this is very interesting too. And so
I don't know. Let's see it. It'd have to do a nice little scam wick, probably be a pretty quick move if it did something like that. And then, like if it goes under 2 mil, I want it to reclaim that 2 to 3 mil zone and like come back up into that, preferably closer to 3 mil. But if it does that, yeah, I think it could maybe make a move up there to, I'd probably be looking at like close to 14 mil, maybe. I mean, depending on what it does at like 8 to 10, but yeah.
Yeah, no, this is interesting. I'm really interested to see what this is gonna do as well, because this is like a member called it out, and she's been phenomenal with some of the early calls. And so we did catch this move from the initial one. A lot of members got into it. I did miss out on this initial one. I was out, and then I did get in here somewhere pretty late, but I got out because I did not like it. There were a lot of red flags with it, and then of course it got crushed pretty badly, and now it's and then I got back in at 186, and now it's kind of going up. So I'm really interested to see what it's going to do, because if we take this high, potentially we are looking at maybe even creating a new all-time high, and maybe even higher. I don't know. We'll see how this one does. I mean, if this one is accepted by the markets and by the traders and by the investors and by the community, then it could go higher. Like it could be the next Elizatown, which is another one I actually called out for a level. Let's see. Was it this one? It wasn't this one. It was this one. Okay. So Elizatown is another one, and I think this was the level, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna have to go back and check which one I called out. Give me 1 second. Ralph. Okay, Elizatown. So it was actually this level right here. And yeah, it did hit this level. So this level was also called out. I did not take this trade. I was going to. It was this level right here. So look at it.
If Ralph gets going, if
yes,
Ralph gets going, in my opinion, it's on that left side of the chart before that big pump. So it's below the, if we're comparing this chart to that other one, I think that it hasn't even had that big move up above like 500K like this one has yet, right? It's in that big consolidation still.
Yeah, exactly. So coming out of the consolidations,
it could be a violent, it'll be a violent move up to like 2, 3, to 5, maybe. I don't know. It'll be huge. Yeah,
it could be huge. Yeah. So just being cautious there. Again, meme coins are scams. So I'm going to keep saying that. I can't emphasize enough on it. And I'm not going to tell you it's going to the moon or it's this or it's that. It is like I'm going to call it like it is, because protecting you is higher priority than anything else. And then here is the move, right? So I was calling this level here, and 500. Like I was thinking when I was looking at the chart yesterday, we were sitting like it was like we were sitting here somewhere, I think. And right, like the price was up here when I called this level right here. This is another thing. Again, when going back to what I said earlier, can you spot these before they happen? Right. And so when the chart was here, I was like, okay, it's gonna come back down here. And this is, I'm probably gonna buy it about this level. And when I was looking at the chart, I was like, you know what, 500K would be really awesome. So if it comes back to 500K or even a little bit under that, I want to buy. And I missed out on this one. There are so many trades I can take, and I'm actually working on a bot right now for this, and hopefully we'll have a bot that will give you, like, I can put in the levels and then it will alert us when the price hits that level. I can set those alerts on my phone right now on Dex Screener, but I want to do it in a way where it goes to the Telegram chat so other people can also spot it, right? And none of us miss it. But basically, I was thinking 500K to 1 mil is a no-brainer. Like, it's gonna do that, and it did. And so we had this level right here that was very clear. So yeah, it worked out exactly like how I had it planned in my mind. And, of course, did not take this trade because there's only so many that I can take every single day. But yeah, this was again a big, big, big money maker. And so another one was Black Whale that I identified early on. It's Bits of Wealth. Like, you are the one who really got me into the meme coin TA, because I never believed in meme coin TA. It was like the most retarded thing that you could do is meme coin TA. And it worked. But you
Yeah,
need
I
to
mean,
know
I
how to do it.
I don't even know that I call it TA. I mean, it's one strategy that has a high win rate, like, but
Yeah, exactly. And so this one right here was actually the level that I did call out before it happened, and it hit that level, and it gave us this move
there's
to
the
the
bounce.
upside. So this was
No.
beautiful level, right? So this one was really awesome. And so yeah, as you can see, a lot of these are called out in the group, and a lot of times they do multiple moves too. Like, this gave us one trade that was solid. Sometimes it will give us, like, two trades. And yeah, so I mean, maybe even this one right now could do something. We don't know that. But the first one is really what I'm always interested in. So definitely wanted to call that out. Quite a few really awesome trades that we've taken in the group. So if you're not in our group, definitely send us a DM so we can get you added, so you can learn some of these strategies and learn how to catch some of these trades. And the group is currently free to join, and you can benefit from it quite a bit. So yeah, really, really excited. Lots of plays there. Anything else, Bits, that you want to cover?
No, I think it was a good stream today. Let's bringing the conversation back to BTC. Here, I'll throw my chart up really quickly.
Yeah. I'm gonna.
Let me see here. Yeah, I gotta remove that one.
There you go.
Add this one. Yeah, look, we're getting a little bit of a bounce. This is total crypto market cap, by the way, right? So you came down, moved into this previous consolidation here, and you had you have a monthly open down here. What else do we have? Like, there's some interesting levels down here. That's the monthly yearly open, right? Because that's where we started the year. So we had some key levels down there that it pulled back to. It's getting some green. It's getting a little bit of volume, but you are pushing up, and this is where I think a lot of people are aping in right now because of the tariff news for Trump that just came out. But you are pushing into the low of the previous week, which even structurally, this could be potentially a little bit of resistance, right? We knew this. And like, a simple way to think about this is that 90K level for BTC. Watch, let me show you so you can see what it looks like. But it's the exact same thing, right? So you're pushing into this area here basically for BTC, which is this, like, and here we'll adjust it a little bit because it's probably about this actually that we need to look at. But you're pushing into this like zone here, right? Into these prior highs, these prior lows. The question is like, is this going to now reject from here because it's now back to resistance, right? Like, this was support, now it's resistance, or can we reclaim that, and then try and do something like that? So, I don't know. It's like, to me, I don't know that this is like the time to be getting uber bullish at this point. We came so close to this, and there's still, in my opinion, if we reject here, there's still an opportunity that we come down and wipe out down there. But look, currently the market, there is some green volume coming in, so I don't want to fight it if that's the case. I'm more or less just looking at it through the lens of like, give me some bullish structure. Right now, if I look
Mhm.
at this, it's just continuing to have a hard time getting above 90K. So I'm going to
Mhm.
continue to be cautious here. Like it couldn't get above 90K there, couldn't get above 90K, and it's had big rejections every time. We're back here again on the news of this canceled tariffs. Wouldn't take a lot for it to do this again a third time. And if you
Mhm.
notice, each of these rejections has been deeper and lower than the previous one, right? So
Mhm.
this other one should be expected to come down below here. So in my opinion, I think that this is just trapping some traders up here more than likely. Um, there may be a short opportunity here present. You probably have to put your stop over here, like at 91.5, maybe a little bit above 91.5 in case it has like a little blow off top thing. But in my
Mhm.
opinion, this is just trapping some people up here off of
Mhm.
the news, and liquidity still down here. I mean, still a lot of reasons why this should come down here, clean up to the downside first, and
Mhm.
then yeah, look, after it does that, then maybe we send it, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, it's
No.
funny. I'm reading like the sentiment, and I'm seeing people posting, and everyone's like, "We're so back." It's that, all this type of stuff. But look, you've got
Yeah.
a little bit of a gap
Nice.
there, even if it maybe did that.
Yeah, that's what
Um,
I'm thinking it's probably gonna do.
yeah.
But you called out a big one here, Bates, because another thing that I remember, this is like going back to
Mm,
how I was taught, right? Like initial days. And I remember Kelvin Ryan, who was my TA mentor, and this is like over a decade ago when I learned about it, right? But basically one thing that he really used to say was when the price is created like a lower low, and which it did
mhm,
create that, then the price comes back down to like the next resistance level. Usually it is like the rejection off of
mhm,
that,
mhm.
and that's what we are seeing happening right now in real time. You have 200 EMA. The only
Yep,
concern I have, again, which is good, I call out over and over again, is on M15. There's no retest of that 200 EMA, which means we are probably going to move up, but and
correct.
also no retest of the 50 EMA. So it does exactly what you just said, maybe retesting that level, which is going to be that 88.9 or 89K, something like that. Maybe retesting and then making its move up. So we are very close to those same levels here.
Yeah, you've got are you looking at those EMAs on the 15 or the daily EMAs is what you're talking
No,
about?
M15.
M15. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah. So 80, 89, is what
gotcha.
I'm
Yep,
thinking it's going to
right
come back
here.
to. And
Yep.
yeah,
Yep, yep, yep.
retest that and then find support there maybe, and then make a move up. So possibility here, right? No, not,
No.
but this was a very awesome trade. Remember what I said also. First TP was that 200 EMA. So if you did take this trade off of that monthly or yearly open, and then you ran it all the way up, that was like the live trade that, if I was watching M15, I would have taken it live today. So one setup here, potentially right now is a short, but I'm not interested in it because there was no retest of that 200 EMA, which is why I'm
Correct.
skipping it.
No.
But it could work out. I mean, this could be it here, so which would make sense. But let's hope that it's not the case. We get some upside, because those meme runners are pretty awesome. But my markets don't run on hopes and prayers, so there's that as well. But we'll see how this one plays out. Most logical, I think, is because all of these have been kind of retested. This one was retested. This one was retested. Now we just retest this one, hopefully, and we move up. Would be the most
You didn't
logical.
and you didn't have a lot of volume off the low. What see, and so let me call this out as well. This
Mhm.
high volume that we're getting, it's high volume into resistance, which you typically see that when you're moving into a trap. You see this high volume start coming in at the highs instead of, we didn't really see high volume at the lows, which would have signaled like buying up here, like a V shape or something. So I don't know. I'm still skeptical. Maybe I'm wrong again about this, but to me, this just looks like we're coming up here back into this 90K, 90 and a half, right? This little area here. And again, people are just doing what people do, this retail behavior, which is getting mega bullish up here on the news, right into a structural area that we maybe should be a little bit cautious here. So let's see. Look, I mean, lot of reasons why waiting for this liquidity down here makes sense. And if not, look, I'm willing to get bullish, but I think
Mhm.
I would probably wait for that and then see if there's an opportunity here with a very clear invalidation below that, right? Maybe even a little tighter. And if this does happen, right, another way to play this would be to also wait for that to come up, probably around here, this 1 week VWAP, and then let it come down at some point, either during the overnight or something. Like you could see this come back down here, even going
Mhm.
into tomorrow morning, and then this could be your structural flip of all of this, and then this would have just been your deviation below structure, right? So it's another way to
Mhm.
think about this is if this horizontal zone here is going to hold, and this is just a deviation, then the confirmation on that is that you want to see this push up as support. So yeah, look, I mean, rarely do you get a trade that doesn't give you opportunities to get in. It happens sometimes, but it's rare.
Mhm.
Even the most brutal moves, there's periods where it cools off and it comes back up for a retest or something. And if not, you just wait. If not, you just wait.
Mhm.
I hate feeling like I need to chase anything. So it's like a no. It's like absolute um non-negotiable for me. I just will not chase it. I'd rather miss it.
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
But yeah, no, that's all I've got. That's all I've got for
Okay.
today.
Couple of things. One actually is a member question, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen real quick here. Let's see. This one. Okay. Okay, so first, Carl, you actually called out this trade at 597K. This was actually a member. This is another thing about Alpha Seedlings. We also have some really cool Alpha hunters in the community who are keeping an eye on the markets and finding some good calls as well. You always have to do your own research, of course. But I mean, Carl is an absolute legend. He is someone who is also very, very responsible with how he trades memes from what I've witnessed, booking profits as he goes, leaving most of the bag to kind of run for free. Like, it's pretty much he is, not risking too much, taking his profits very quickly, and then letting it run risk free, which is basically a free bag that he's holding a lot of times, which is really phenomenal. And that's how you should be trading consistently to win in the long run, right? And so he called it out at about 597K, which was pretty awesome actually. And there was a 4.4x off of that trade. So congrats to those who caught it. You're of the Clippy generation. I get that. Oh, that's really awesome. But yeah, good catch there. Ash, you are here. Welcome. Good morning to you, my friend. How are you doing today? A question from the member about Gala. I will tell you, I'm the Gala girl, and that's been something that has been hated on quite a bit. A lot of Web3 gaming folks, for some reason, hate Gala as well. For whatever reason, the founders are not good or whatever that may be. I don't know. I am all about the projects that are listed on T1 exchanges. Gala was one of them, and so of course I had a position in it during the bull market. So I definitely was on my portfolio. I did sell it before the when I got out at the end of the year last year. So I don't have a position in it anymore, but it did kind of find support here. Now I did see some comments around Web3 gaming coming back. I'll be cautious about that. Of course, there's going to be some runners, right? Whenever you have a hype like this, like a trend that may last for a few weeks. What I will be looking for is really at the end of uh, at the end of this year. I'll probably be looking for some opportunities. What I do think, though, this is like a candle that we had, that October crash, like the October 10th crash, the big crash that happened. What's funny is that when I did call out the top, I gave you a range. I said, look for the Bitcoin top between September 20th and October 10th. And I also said, look for it in the first week of October for a top. Those were the two things that I said, because you have to give a range, right? You can't just say exact date, even though I kind of had it in my mind 5th or 6th is it. But I did say 10th, and it was so funny because October 10th was when you had this big crash. And I was like, oh, wow, that was very interesting. It worked out exactly, and gave you a bonus, right? This is like a bonus. It was almost like um, Bitcoin historical data telling me, good job, Ra. Here's a bonus for you on 10th. I'm going to give you this. So that was funny to watch. But basically, this candle, a lot of alts have it. And this liquidity has to be taken, because remember, these were the generational entries that a lot of people bought to, go long on this. And this entry, I will be surprised if we get above here, because then these traders who are trapped, who bought up here because they were thinking generational entries, then they'll get out.
That's
So a lot of
brutal
people
though that we're calling it these were the generational entry.
once in a lifetime opportunity, my friend.
That was these people way up here, way higher than where we currently are. They took the once in a lifetime generation.
They did. They took the generational entries here, and look at what happened. Man, your generational entries, and it's going back down here. And so I'd be surprised if it goes up there, because a lot of traders are trapped at this level, and they will get out. They will get out. So we'll see. Maybe they do get their exit, and maybe we do see a little bit, up to 2 cents. But what I'm looking for, because it is a project that is listed on tier 1 exchanges, and it has a potential, some potential there as a tradable instrument to, at least that's how I see it. I will buy it below this level somewhere. I'm not in a hurry. I'm going to wait until the end of the year. It's definitely going to go below this level. And then I'm going to be, picking up the bottom. If it goes to, a cent or 0.001, I'm sorry, or even lower than that, I'm all for it. I'll definitely be adding Gala to my portfolio. We had also, markets also condition you to think a certain way. So last bull market, if you were with me in 2021, you remember what I said back in 2021. I said, next upcoming bull run is going to be Bitcoin, mostly be dominated by Bitcoin. It's going to be all about Bitcoin, which is why, if you remember, we had early on, we were talking about BRC20, we were talking about all of those things super early on. And so Bitcoin did take off, and it was the dominating asset within the crypto sector. What I'm thinking now is, going into the next bull market, we have to be cautious, because everybody's conditioned to think Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. We didn't have an all season last time, so we're not going to have it this time. So guess what's going to happen? Markets might do the opposite of what everybody else is thinking. Maybe it will be a much bigger all season next bull market than what we've seen this time. And next bull market is not until, we bottom out this year, and then after post halving, which is going to be the next bull year, is 2029. That's going to be a bull year. So 2028 may be a big altcoin year, and also maybe 2029 could be a big altcoin year. And so watch out for those, because markets have conditioned everybody to think it's only going to be Bitcoin. All of the alts are going to be trash, and they're not going to do anything. But I think there's going to be some good alts that are going to, stand out. And so definitely be waiting for that. We'll see. I'm very curious to see, because I think it's going to be more altcoin heavy. It doesn't mean Bitcoin is not going to perform well. It's going to do incredible. But I think we're going to also see some nice moves in alts. All right. This was really it. Bits, anything else that you want to cover?
Nah, this is a good stream. I'm good. I've done my share of talking.
We had a lot of stuff to talk about today, man. Some good stuff. And what you were talking about earlier, like, I really encourage everyone, if you're just joining now, you got to go back and listen to what was said earlier during the stream. I may have to clip it out somehow.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm gonna clip that part too, because it is true. It needs to be said.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. It was so incredible. Like, mic drop moment. Like, loved it. I wish people would start looking at it this way, but we don't. But yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it here. You're gonna have to go back and listen to it if you want to know what we were talking about. Yeah, Bits doesn't stream enough, only 10 hours a day. Bits is always out there. It's incredible. All right. Thanks everybody for joining. And we will be back again on Friday with the FOMO Friday. There will be a stream tomorrow that I'm also doing with ASI. We're going to be talking about the AI product that they have, ASI 1, and there's a giveaway tied to it as well. So it's going to be super exciting to get into this again tomorrow. But yeah, we'll be back again with the market review on Friday. Make sure that you're also following Bits of Wealth, because he's doing his streams every single day as well on his Twitter. And so follow him and make sure that you are also watching his live streams. He shares a lot of setups there, and he does it right before Asia opens, and or around the same time. So right at Asian Open. So you'll actually be able to catch some good trades based off of the technical analysis that he's sharing. Again,
Yeah, and
none of this is financial advice.
I'm working on getting Ash on to some of those as well every now and then as well. So we'll try and
Yeah,
get Ash on during some of these. We may have to adjust the time a little bit, or Ash is going to have to
yeah, we
wake
may
up
have
early,
to.
one of the two. But
Mhm.
yeah, I want to
I
definitely
think I
get
have
him
an
on.
idea.
So
Yeah, I have an idea. Like, you know how usually we start at 11 p.m., 11 a.m. PST, it goes up to about, 12:30. So I think what we're going to do is the first hour, we start at our regular time, 11 to 11:30 or 11 to noon. And then we bring up Ash and then he can go over his indicator because we definitely want to do that.
yeah, we'll figure it
Right,
out. We'll
that
get him
way.
on at some point, whether it's an evening
Yes.
stream or just a little later or something. But we got to get that dude on.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much, Bits, for joining, and thank you everyone
thanks for
else
having
for
me again.
joining us today. This was phenomenal. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and we'll be seeing you again on Friday. Thank you.
See you guys.